Hello, everyone, and welcome aboard the Wonder of the Seas, the current world's largest cruise ship as of the day of recording this in May of 2023. Today, we're going to be taking a full walkthrough tour deck by deck, starting from the very top, making our way all the way down to the bottom of the ship, showing you everything that this massive ship has to offer. Starting all the way forward on deck 15 here on Wonder of the Seas, we have the Solarium. This is a adults-only relaxation area. Other Oasis class ships, they have little openings in this little awning area, whereas it is fully enclosed here on board Wonder of the Seas. If you're looking to spend some time in a hot tub or just looking to relax in a quiet area on the ship, this is definitely a place to do it. Huge area just because of how large the ship is. Plenty of pools, plenty of seating, and just a very nice area overall. And over to the side here as well, we have the Solarium Bistro. It is a restaurant on board. Breakfast is available to everybody, and I believe lunch and dinner are for suite guests only. But the Solarium Bistro had very good breakfast. I definitely recommend it, and not many people go up there. It's kind of one of those hidden gems. There's a couple of these along the way, so definitely stay tuned to find out all of those little breakfast restaurants that nobody else goes to. And here on the port side of the ship, we have the view bar, which is where the cantilever whirlpool normally would be on other Oasis class ships, but here on Wonder of the Seas there is only one of them, and we have the view bar here taking its place on the port side. But if we skip over to the opposite side of the ship, we have that cantilever whirlpool that hangs out over the side of the ship for some very nice views. As we come out of the Solarium, we're going to jump up to deck 16. This is going to be the top level of the pool deck. All the way forward, we have the 3 water slides, the Perfect Storm water slides. We have this, what I like to call toilet bowl looking slide, where you kind of spin around and then go down into a little chute to the bottom. And over to the side here, they line both sides of the pool deck up here, but we have some of the casitas where you can rent out for the day. I think they're only available on sea days. And then here we have more looks of some of the main pools here on the pool deck, down on deck 15. And a better look at the other water slides as well. Those blue and yellow ones are kind of intertwined and are the same. They just kind of cross and twist between each other, which is really cool. In the center of this pool deck area, we have a bridge that connects both sides together. In the middle, we have something different that's not seen on the other Oasis class ships, which is this little stadium seating section. Whereas also not on other Oasis class ships, we have this big movie theater screen, basically a giant TV. And they do play movies there at night, so this is perfect stadium seating for any time that you're looking to watch a movie at night. Here on the opposite side of the ship, we have one of the 2 lime and coconut bars. The second one is directly one deck below us, down on deck 15. This one here is up on 16, where we are right now. Up above us here, we do have the suite-only area. If you can kind of see off to the side, you can see some of the balconies. But of course, since I was not in a suite, I was not able to get access to that area. But as we make our way further back on deck 16, we have the Tide and Trail adventure gear kiosk thing. Basically, you can buy like goggles, snorkels, things like that if you want to do that in the pool, like usually for little kids. But as we make our way further back, we just passed a ping pong table and a full-size basketball court, which is really, really awesome to have. Right now, in the mornings, they always have it set up for pickleball, which is a kind of a new trend. All the ships on Royal Caribbean seem to be doing that, where they'll offer pickleball on the basketball courts in the early mornings. And we've made our way all the way to the very back of the ship. Here we have just incredible views of the wake of the ship and all the prop wash. Incredible views up here if you want to hang out. We also have the Ultimate Abyss, one of the main attractions here on board Wonder of the Seas. It's a 10-story slide taking you from deck 16, where we are now, all the way down to the boardwalk on deck 6. Just off to the side of that, we also have the Wipeout bar, ironically themed, after the Flow Rider that is just off to our left-hand side here as well. Flow Rider is a big surfing simulator. It made its big debut on Freedom of the Seas back in 2006. The main difference here on Wonder of the Seas with the Flow Rider is that she only has 1, whereas all the other Oasis class ships have 2. Taking the place of where that second Flow Rider would go, we have the Kids Playscape, a huge little playground for little kids. Honestly, I kind of wish I was a little kid because this looks like so much fun. Got little slides, things to play around in. Really, really cool area to hang out for little kids. Now we're going to start making our way forward again. We have the zip line that's going to take you all the way across. This little wire here gets you going right over the boardwalk that's 10 decks below you. So it's really, really cool. They even had this opened up at night, which was neat. I've never seen that before, and I was able to do it. It was so much fun. It was really cool. And making our way even further forward, we have the mini golf course. It's got like a little underwater sea theme, which is really, really cool. You have like seashells, starfish, things like that. It's a really cool little mini golf course. Here we have the Cantina Fresca Bar, which is part of El Loco Fresh. Very great restaurant. If you're looking for Mexican food, you can get like quesadillas, tacos. You can get like just chips, cheese dip, things like that. Really, really cool. And they even have breakfast up here at El Loco Fresh. Kind of a hidden gem as well, because we had breakfast here almost every day on board Wonder of the Seas, and there was almost never anybody else up here. And they even had made-to-order omelets, so you always got a fresh, hot omelet if you wanted that. They also had all sorts of bacon, sausage, all sorts of stuff like that. So if that sounds good to you, I definitely recommend coming up here for breakfast. And going a little bit further forward on deck 16, we have the Players Arcade. We have claw machines, video games, racing simulators, all sorts of stuff like that. Really, really cool. All right, we're going to be dropping down to deck 15 now, the main pool deck. We've just been above it the whole time. Here's one of our main pools. Lots of little chairs inside the water, which is really, really neat and really cool. They also have the stadium seating actually extends on both sides of that area that we spoke about earlier. But if we're going to go inside real quick and make our way back right underneath where we just were, we have the Windjammer, the main buffet here on board. It is huge in a whole new location compared to the other Oasis class ships, where it wraps around deck 15 all the way around the boardwalk, which is really cool. So you can actually look inside the ship on down onto the boardwalk or outside to the ocean. It's a very large buffet, lots and lots of options. So if there's anything that you're looking for, you're probably going to find it here in the buffet. And just kind of showing how it does wrap around as we continued all the way through. Here we have like that backside where we can still sit along the side and just look down into the boardwalk like this. Look at all the boardwalk balconies and, of course, the boardwalk down below. So really, really cool, very unique. And I believe this is going to be on Utopia. And I think this concept is coming over to Icon as well. As you come out of the Windjammer as well, you also have the Mason Jar, which is a southern restaurant and bar. Has little brunch, breakfast type of things, and of course, also a nice bar on the inside. So if you're ever looking for something like that, I hear really good things about it, but I didn't try it this cruise, unfortunately. Making our way back outside, like I mentioned earlier, there is a second Lime and Coconut bar. This is the one down on deck 15, directly below the one that we were looking at earlier. This one's a lot bigger, of course, since there's more people down on this deck. But right across from it, we also have a little life jacket stand. You can also grab your pool towels there. So if you ever need a life jacket for the little ones while they're in the pool, it's a great peace of mind to know that Royal Caribbean provides these. And, of course, placed very well next to the children's water park little area here. A couple small slides, little obstacle course to walk around and go in so they can dump water on each other, things like that. And, of course, here's a better look at some of the water slides. You can see the little staircase here in between the little blue slide that takes you all the way up, and it takes you over to that orange one on the other side. So it's one single staircase that goes to all three slides. Here on deck 14, we have Adventure Ocean, which is the kids club on board, just in case you need to drop off the kids for the day or they're looking to hang out with other kids that are on board the ship. This is the only thing really on deck 14 other than just a bunch of staterooms, so no other major activities or any areas on deck 14. So we'll be skipping down. So now we're going to skip to the back of the ship here on deck 12. We have Wonderland. I couldn't get in here. Of course, it was a little early in the morning when I filmed this, so I couldn't get inside, but I'll show a little bit of footage of Wonderland on Symphony of the Seas because they are identical restaurants on both those ships. Now we're going to skip down to deck 8. We have Central Park, one of the main neighborhoods here on board Wonder of the Seas. This pretty much spans the entire middle section of the ship. As we start making our way through, here we have some of the jewelry stores and the Regalia store where you can just buy some more high-end or more expensive items. And as we make our way past that, we have the Park Cafe, which is one of the main restaurants here on board Wonder of the Seas here in Central Park. They usually have breakfast and lunch here. Not sure about dinner. And just past that, we have Giovanni's Italian restaurant, which is open for lunch and dinner. Both are paid, so you do have to pay for the lunch and pay for the dinner if you do choose to go here. I had the lunch while during my cruise, and it was amazing. So much food. You definitely get your money's worth out of it. There is also a built-in wine bar to this, so off to one side of Giovanni's, you can go buy a bottle of wine or just a glass, whatever you choose. You have the indoor seating and you have the outdoor seating that we see here. All right, and as we continue our way through Central Park, here is a look at one of the astronauts. We saw one of those earlier up on the pool deck in that stadium seating area. There is a total of 5 around the ship, I believe. So you can find those throughout the ship, which is really cool to do. Here we have the Trellis Bar, which is just the main bar here on Central Park. And continuing on forward, we have 150 Central Park, which is one of the specialty restaurants. And then here in the middle, we have the Rising Tide Bar. This is a bar that moves from deck 8 here at Central Park all the way down to deck 5 on the Royal Promenade. So it's really, really cool. It's almost like an elevator. Really neat. And on the opposite side of 150 Central Park, we have Chops Grill, which is the steakhouse on board. I didn't have Chops Grill here on this cruise, but I had it while I was on Symphony a couple months ago. Amazing food. Definitely recommend it. If you're looking to spend the extra money, it is very expensive, but very, very good food. Making our way out of Central Park and further back in deck 8, here we have the music hall, which spans decks 8 and 9 up, that's above us. Here we have live music here. Sometimes there's dancing, all sorts of stuff like that. Really, really cool. Lots of seating. There's even a bar and a pool table up on deck 9, which is really neat. And you also get this really cool and unique view of the boardwalk. Speaking of the boardwalk, there is nothing really on deck 7, so we're going to skip down to deck 6 here for the boardwalk. This is all the way in the rear of the ship, so let's go ahead and start making our way through. As you first enter, you have some of these wooden sculptures of the carousel pieces or the carousel animals and kind of a progress of how they are created, which is really neat. You also have some arcade games from Playmakers, which we'll get to in just a moment. And then here on our left-hand side, we have the doghouse, which is a little hot dog stand. Here off to the side, we have Playmakers Sports Bar. There is a little arcade games on the inside as well. But this is a sports bar. Basically, you do have to pay for the food here, but it is very good. Like pork sliders, chicken tendies, things like that, burgers, and of course, a full list of beer and alcohol options as well. Lots of TVs, so if the big game is on, definitely a great place to watch while you're on board. Continuing further back, we have a look at the Ultimate Abyss. Like we mentioned earlier, it goes from deck 16 all the way down here to deck 6. And all the way in the very back of the ship here on the boardwalk and on deck 6, we have the Aqua Theater where they do all the big dive shows with the pool that adjusts itself during the show where people can start running on it at one point and then dive from the high platforms, and within a few seconds later. It's incredible what they are able to do with that. But here we have a look at the rock wall. There is one on each side of the ship. Here we have a look at another one of those astronauts. So we've seen 3 so far. And making our way back through the boardwalk, I have here what we like to call the Pringle Playground, where it looks like these little platforms just look like Pringles, basically. But kids can play on them, just go up there. We actually, on Independence of the Seas last year, we climbed up one of those, and it was kind of a good time, not going to lie. And here we have Johnny Rockets. For breakfast, Johnny Rockets is completely free. You can get pancakes, eggs, all sorts of stuff like that. But for lunch and dinner, it is a paid meal, so you do have to pay. Just past the boardwalk, we have the kids shop, where you can mostly find Royal Caribbean merchandise like you would find normally in the Royal shops, just more focused on kids, more kids sizes, plushies, things like that. And then right next to it, we have Sugar Beach, which is a candy store on board. If you have a sweet tooth and you're looking for some candy while you're on the ship, definitely a place to do it. They even have ice cream. You do have to pay for the ice cream, though, when you're here at Sugar Beach. Making our way back inside here on deck 6, here we have a shore excursions kiosk, these little tablets that you see here. You can book any shore excursions while you're on board the cruise if you need to book anything last minute. And as you make your way just past it, we also have the photo gallery here on board. If you want to look at or purchase any photos that you take while on board the ship, this is the place to do it. You would tap your little key card on this pad right here next to it. And from there, it'll pull up all of your information. If you have any photos, you can purchase them on there. And of course, you can order multiple copies if needed. On the opposite side, we have the loyalty desk and the schooner bar. The schooner bar is one of the more iconic bars and lounges here on board Royal Caribbean ships. The schooner bar is on every single one of Royal Caribbean ships right now. They host trivia and all sorts of just random things there as well, which is nice to do. And then now we're here on deck 5 on the Royal Promenade. We have the Bionic Bar, which is the robotic bartenders. You tap your key or your room key on the little things here, and it'll make a drink for you, which is really cool. You can choose what you want in it. And on the opposite side, we have the collection shop. This is more sunglasses, watches, things like that. And here, just past that, we have guest services. In case you ever need anything or have any questions, they are always here to help you out with any issues that you may have while on board. And right next to that, we have Cafe Promenade. Here you can get your specialty coffees. If you're, I believe, platinum or higher, you get discounted coffees here. And here we have one of the centerpieces of the Royal Promenade. It's a 1960s Mustang. Most Oasis class ships have some sort of piece like that. Like the Symphony of the Seas has a Volkswagen Bug that's crushed up into a little ball, which is kind of neat. But here we have the next cruise desk just below that photo gallery, and another accessory place where you can buy any jewelry as well on board. And then here, continuing forward, we have one of my favorites, Sorrento's Pizza. You have the Coke Freestyle machines if you bought the soda package. And of course, just any pizza that you want, you can get here at Sorrento's. Across from that, we have the Irish Pub here on board. If you're looking for just a quick drink, great place to just sit, relax, kind of quiet in here sometimes. And when it's not quiet, there's live music here on that little stage that's off to the side here. And in the middle of it all, we have these little kiosks where usually they'll have like the t-shirt sales that are going on here, or just random things that are being sold at these kiosks in the middle throughout the cruise. Here we have more of the merchandise shops here off to one side. And then, of course, if we look over to the other side here, we have the Royal Shop, which is all the Royal Caribbean logo merchandise, t-shirts, ship models, plushies, coffee mugs, anything you can think of stamping a Royal Caribbean logo on it. You can find it here. Of course, you know me, I have to get my ship models, and I was very excited to get the Wonder of the Seas ship model. Here we have another piece of artwork here. It's a giant cowboy hat, which is kind of random, but really, really cool. People can go up and take their pictures inside of it, which is neat. And then off to the side, we have Spotlight Karaoke. Some nights they'll do karaoke here in this lounge. A bunch of seating in here, and then there's a little stage for whoever is up there singing. Definitely not my thing. You guys do not want to hear me sing. And on the opposite side of the karaoke lounge, we have Boleros, which is another place where live music sometimes takes place. There's a bar on the inside as well. Good little peaceful relaxation area in the morning as well. And then right in the middle, we have Starbucks coffee. The specialty coffees that I mentioned earlier at Cafe Promenade are not the same as here, but it is the same menu. So you do get Starbucks coffee at both places. Cafe Promenade, you only get the discount there. You don't get it at Starbucks. Here's a look inside Boleros real quick. Again, almost nobody in here during the day. At night, it's a little more busy sometimes, especially when there's music, and a little bit of a dance floor, which is cool as well. Here on deck 5, at each staircase, there are exits to go out towards the jogging track. I tried to film it, and I nearly got ran over. It was like just standing out in the middle of I-95 traffic here. So didn't get too much of that, just that little tiny clip you just saw. But here we are going to skip down to the Royal Theater on deck 4. This is the main theater for the Broadway shows. Tap Factory, I think, was one of the main shows here as well, so you can find those shows here. Studio B is the ice skating rink on board. Here you can watch the ice shows, which was really, really good. We saw that on Embarkation Night, I believe. That was really good. And then here we have the Comedy Lounge. It got turned into a storage place for the art stuff. later on in the cruise, but the comedy shows are held there, which is really neat. And then continuing through deck 4, we have Casino Royale, which is the main casino on board. If gambling is your thing, this is a huge casino and lots of slot machines, blackjack, all sorts of stuff like that. So if you like to gamble, Wonder of the Seas is a good ship for that because there's a very large casino. All the way back in deck 4, here we have the main dining room. This dining room spans decks 3, 4, and 5, so we are in the middle of the 3 decks. This is where all your main dinners are going to be held. They even have breakfast here, which is nice. So if you don't want to go up to the Windjammer for dinner or breakfast, you can definitely come down here. You can have people bring the food out to you and all of that. Very good food here. My dining experience on Wonder of the Seas was probably one of the best ones I've ever had in a very long time. And just outside the main dining room here on deck 4, we also have Izumi, which is the hibachi and sushi restaurant on board. This is another one of the specialty restaurants that is pay to eat, but I hear very good things about it. Didn't try it this cruise either. And last but not least, deck 6 all the way forward, we have Vitality at Sea, which is the spa and gym on board. And there is even a smoothie bar for any morning post-workout smoothies or just any sort of breakfast smoothie type of thing, so you can do that here. And that is all for today's ship tour of Wonder of the Seas. If you did enjoy it, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe if you are new to the channel, as we do have videos coming from all 7 days on board this massive ship. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and any future videos, and we'll see you there. Bye.